Okay, get this. Can you imagine an entire lake just vanishing? I'm not talking about drying up over a few years. I mean gone, in a matter of hours, taking a massive oil rig down with it. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it's a completely true story. And today, we're diving into the absolute chaos of the Lake Peigneur disaster.
It just doesn't seem possible, right? I mean, we're talking about a lake that's on average only about 10 feet deep. How on earth does something like that swallow a structure that's taller than a 14-story building? Well, that's the big mystery we're going to unpack. How did this peaceful little lake turn into a monster?
So to really get what went down, we have to go back. Picture it. It's November 20th, 1980 in Louisiana. Lake Peigneur is just this beautiful, calm, freshwater lake. It's a popular spot for fishermen. It's quiet. It's just a totally normal Thursday morning. Or so everyone thought.
And this is where things get kind of wild, because you have these two completely separate worlds literally stacked right on top of each other. Up on the surface, there's a Texaco oil rig, drilling for oil. But 400 meters right below them, deep underground, over 50 miners are working away in a giant diamond crystal salt mine. And the crazy part? They were pretty much oblivious to each other, with absolutely no idea they were about to collide in the most spectacular way possible.
And then it happened, the one single moment that kicks off the whole disaster. Deep underneath the lake, that big oil drill hits a snag, and this wasn't just some minor problem, this was truly the point of no return.
The guys on the rig, they felt it immediately. About 400 meters down, the drill didn't just get stuck, it seized up hard. The entire platform shuddered, and then nothing. The drill string just let go, like the ground beneath it literally wasn't there anymore, it just dropped. Then came the strange noises, and the whole rig started to tilt.
And you have to give it to these workers. Their reaction was incredible. They knew, in their gut, that something was seriously, seriously wrong. They didn't hang around to ask questions, they hit the alarm and scrambled off that platform as fast as they could. That quick thinking, that gut instinct, it's the only reason they got out of there alive.
So what was actually going on down there? Well, that huge drill bit had punched a hole right through the roof of the salt mine. Now, you know what happens when water hits salt? It dissolves. That lake water started pouring through the little hole and just melting the giant salt pillars holding up the mine's roof. As the salt melted, the hole got bigger. A bigger hole let in more water, which melted more salt, which made the hole even bigger. You see where this is going? It was this feedback loop from hell, and it created a massive, unstoppable whirlpool right in the middle of the lake.
And this didn't take hours, we're talking minutes. The entire lake just transformed from a peaceful spot into this terrifying, giant bathtub drain, pulling everything on the surface down with it. And the list of things this whirlpool ate is just insane. First, that huge 45-meter oil rig gets sucked in and disappears like it's a little toothpick. But it didn't stop there. 11 huge cargo barges, a tugboat, and get this, an entire island with all its trees was just swallowed whole. The vortex got so powerful, it even ripped a house off the shoreline and pulled it in. And when the chaos finally settled, the lake was just unrecognizable. It went from a shallow, 3-meter deep freshwater pond to this deep, dark, 400-meter saltwater pit, full of all the wreckage it had just swallowed.
But if you thought that was the end of the story, you are wrong. This is where things go from just crazy to flat out unbelievable. The lake draining didn't just change the lake. It was so powerful, it literally made the ocean flow the wrong way. Okay, so a quick geography lesson. There's this channel, the Delcambre Canal, that connects the lake to the Gulf of Mexico. For all of history, fresh water flowed out of the lake, down the canal, and into the ocean. Simple physics, right? That's how it's supposed to work. But when the lake basically turned into a giant hole in the ground, it created this massive suction effect. And nature hates a vacuum, right? So the Gulf of Mexico itself started pouring inland, rushing backwards up that same canal to fill the giant hole. And this backwards flowing ocean created something no one had ever seen there before, a waterfall, a massive 50-meter tall waterfall. In Louisiana? For 2 days straight, Louisiana had a temporary waterfall that was almost as tall as the American side of Niagara Falls. Just think about that for a second.
So all this insanity is happening up on the surface, but let's not forget, there are over 50 people 400 meters underground. While the lake is draining, they're in a race against time.
Imagine you're down there,
All of a sudden, the lights flicker and the power cuts out. And then you hear a sound that has no business being in a salt mine, a deafening roar, the sound of a river where there shouldn't be one. They knew instantly what it was, and the evacuation alarm went off.
And then it was just a mad dash for their lives. 55 miners running in the dark, trying to get to the main elevator. They could feel the air pressure changing around them, being crushed by the incoming water. Can you imagine being in that elevator, slowly rising to the surface, knowing that a tidal wave is filling up the shaft right beneath your feet? It's terrifying.
And this is the truly miraculous part of the whole story. After all that chaos, all that destruction, you know how many people died? 0. Not a single person. Every single worker from the rig and every single miner from the mine got out alive. It's absolutely incredible.
So once the dust or the water settled, everyone was asking the same question. How? How on earth did this happen? Well, the answer wasn't some act of God or a freak natural disaster. It was a really, really dumb and expensive mistake.
First, let's just look at the final scorecard here. The lake is now saltwater, not fresh. It went from about 10 feet deep to over 1,300 feet deep. And the entire original ecosystem? Wiped out. Replaced with new saltwater critters. A complete and total transformation.
So investigators start digging, and what they found is almost hard to believe. It wasn't a broken drill bit or some piece of faulty equipment. The whole thing, all of it, boiled down to a simple human error. A math problem that someone got wrong long before they ever started drilling.
Okay, so here it is, the billion-dollar mistake. The oil company had one kind of map, the mining company had a different kind of map. And the two map systems, well, they didn't talk to each other correctly. It's kind of like one was using Google Maps and the other was using an old pirate treasure map. They thought they were drilling in a totally safe spot, hundreds of feet away from the mine. But because the coordinates didn't line up, they were off. And off in this case meant they aimed the drill right into the roof of the mine.
And that was it. That's all it took. One little miscalculation on a map led to one of the most bizarre and expensive industrial accidents in history. Millions of dollars in damages, lawsuits, and a landscape that was changed forever. All because of some bad math.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? This whole disaster happened because one tiny piece of data was in the wrong place and no one caught it until it was way too late. It just makes you wonder. In our super complex world that's run on code and coordinates and data, what other tiny little glitches are just sitting there, right below the surface, waiting to happen?